Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to talk about top 3 mistakes that I did as a beginner real estate wholesaler. I want to tell you this mistake so you don't make them and you can get your first deal much quicker. I hope this video becomes very useful, so leave a like and comment down below and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content. So without further ado, number 1, issues with the contract. There are many things that if you do wrong in the contract can scare off the seller. So for example, let's say you don't have a good deposit amount on your contract. So when I started wholesaling, a lot of things that I've heard is that you want to have as least deposit as you can in the beginning to put the property in the contract. It's kind of true, you don't want to have $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 deposit, but also you don't want to have a $10 deposit, which I was trying to do in the beginning. So on my first contract, the deposit was $10, and it actually worked out. I got very lucky because the seller was very in the need to sell, I guess. So that $10 wasn't a big deal. The thing is, I actually scared away a couple of sellers because of that $10 deposit. One situation, I had a house that I was trying to acquire and I didn't even think about it. I just thought it was $10 and whatever, it's a very little amount, but they're gonna be okay with it. But literally this lady ghosted me after she saw the contract, and I'm really thinking about it. I think that's why she did it. I had some people tell me, oh, this deposit is so low. So after they start looking into it, they start questioning you as a wholesaler much more, because they're gonna be like, well, he's so unprofessional, he thinks that such low deposit is okay, then they might not even want to go and deal with you after that. The problem, even if they think that such low deposit is not acceptable and is unprofessional, if they do think that, most likely they're not going to even deal with you, or maybe if they do, throughout the process, they're going to question you so much, they're going to maybe ask for proof of funds and other stuff that may stall you as a wholesaler because you may not have those funds. So you're really gonna try to build a proper relationship with the seller and make them feel secure and comfortable selling the property to you. Also, another thing with the contract, it's a kind of important thing as well, is that I used to put buyer's choice for the title company. I've talked about this in previous videos, but it's actually very important. Yes, you do want to have the option to let your buyer decide what title company they want to use to close. I actually talked about the title process as well. The link is going to be down below. However, it's not difficult to change the title company you had on the original purchase and sale agreement. Very simple addendum that you have to write. It's not difficult at all. You literally just can Google it. It's called addendum to switch title companies. That's pretty much it. Number 2, negotiating with the sellers or the buyers. Negotiating is a big part of wholesale, and it really is. And it comes down to a lot of it negotiating with the seller to bring the price down, and a lot of it to negotiate with the buyer to bring the price up. What you're really doing is that you're actually trying to talk the property down when you talk to the seller, and you try to explain to them why their property isn't worth as much as they think it is. And then when you talk to the buyer, you're trying to talk the property up, even though a lot of times the buyers will do their own due diligence, so no matter how much you talk about it, they will still do their own homework. They still want to show the property in the best manner possible. A lot of times, especially if the seller is in need to sell, they will be willing to negotiate lower. If the seller is not in the need to sell, they just kind of just want to sell, might as well, then they won't really negotiate on the price as much. I myself still working on negotiating because it's a big part of wholesaling, and I think I can get better at it if I work on it a little more. Not being able to negotiate as well as I should have was part of the problem why I didn't make as much money. It was my first deal as I could have. And number 3, the biggest mistake that I made, and I think this might be the biggest one, is not getting my numbers right. So in the beginning, it's kind of difficult to actually realize what the property is worth, and if it's going to be a single family home, multi-family home, it's a vacant land. It's hard to run comparables for each one of those depending on the area. Let's say you have a single family home that's 1,500 square feet. You look within that 0.5 miles around the home and you find, let's say, 3 properties sold within last year similar to this one. Let's say one sold for $200,000, one sold for $160,000, and one sold $100,000. There is a reason why that property is sold for $100,000 and this other property is sold for $200,000. Location, any extra amenities including pool or extra garage space or whatnot actually increases the price. Depending on how many repairs there were, because if you think about it, if that $100,000 property was bought by an investor, then that property probably had a lot of repairs to do. And that $200,000 property was property that was maybe fixed up and it was already in a great shape, or maybe it was a new build. So that's for houses. For vacant lands, it's a little bit different. Yes, you try to run comparables with the area to see how much the lot sold for. With vacant land, if there are a lot of trees or very tall grass or something else on the property that needs to be cleaned, that will have to be incorporated in the cost in the price you sell the property for. For example, I just made a deal today. I actually not making a whole lot on this deal, but the reason why not, because there was 3 big oak trees on the property. That's gonna take about $3,000 to $5,000 for the buyer to clean up, so I had to bring my price a little bit down to make it work. And you also have the location. It could be a corner lot, could be a little bit bigger, you know, it could be next to the main street. You don't really want to build residential property on the main street, you want to be off the street. So there are many things that go into vacant land comparables as well. So in my opinion, that's a very important one, and you think you should be very smart about running your comparables and making sure the deal works for the buyer and the seller. But I'll give you guys a bonus one. What I did is that with my marketing, I spent a lot of money on marketing methods that didn't work right away, and I should have realized that sooner and quicker. I've spent about $1,000 on Facebook marketing and didn't get a single deal from that. When I put about 200 to 300, maybe 500 bucks, I should have realized that maybe it's not the best for me, or maybe I'm not doing something right, which is also possible because it's not that that marketing system doesn't work, and maybe I'm not doing the right way, and maybe I'm not catering to the right people. So overall, yes, I could have probably saved a couple $100, maybe $500 if I realized it sooner. Same thing goes for other softwares that I've used that didn't really work out for me. While I'm at it anyway, let's get the one extra one. I realized later on, maybe a little too late, but I guess not late enough, that it is so important to be personable in every time you talk to a seller. Instead of the first text message or call that you make them, the first thing you say is like, I want to buy your property, or what about your property? Talk to them. They have their plans with the property, they have it for some kind of reason. Get it out of them, talk to them, realize that you're a regular person as well. You're not just a random guy that's trying to take advantage of them. Because that's what people are scared of. People are scared that you're taking advantage of them, and you have to make them comfortable enough so they can just be comfortable with selling to you. And at the end of the day, they will be happy, you will be happy, and the buyer will be happy as well. But that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I actually have a cool update coming up. I'm working on my second business idea that I should be releasing soon on this channel. So subscribe, like, and follow. I really appreciate that. Helps a lot. Thanks to everyone who's been following the channel and helping me grow it constantly. If you guys have any questions, my social media is down below. And as always, guys, peace.